Hey, this is Jake Berry with 956sports.com. I'm here at Harlingen Field where Coach Tony Leal from the Harlingen South Hawks has just finished his first round of district play. Coach, how has district play been for you guys?
Well, it's been kind of rough for us, but our kids are still playing hard and trying to compete here in a tough district. Right now we're in the bottom end, but we're still coming out and playing and trying to compete.
Now, a lot of teams that we thought were going to be at the top, some of them aren't there, but there's a lot of teams really that have played really well this year.
Right. Well, you can consider going down, starting in Brownsville. Brownsville Vets has done really well. Los Fresnos done an excellent job. I think they're 16-2. They just lost their first district game, 3-2 to Brownsville Vets. You go back the other way, and you're looking at Donna North doing a good job. The coach Leroy Rodriguez there, and Port Isabel there with Coach Holland. Also on the other side, obviously Casey Smith there at Mission Vets, outstanding job. Coach Pompa doing a great job at Mackay also.
Now, this we're going into the second round this week. What are some of the crucial games that you see along the way? I know Edinburgh is playing Edinburgh North. There are some big games around the valley.
Ooh, big games. I haven't really looked at that, but I would venture to guess. Like in our district, there's four good teams right now, and the aforementioned Brownsville Vets, Los Fresnos, Hanna, and San Benito. They look like they're going to be the teams that are going to be in our district. Uh, in the other districts, there's some that are piled up. I would think you just mentioned Edinburgh North, Edinburgh High. Edinburgh North's 5-0. Edinburgh High's 4-1. But right behind them is PSJ North with a 4-2 record. Westaco, 3-2 record, 3-2 record for Westaco also, and Economides is just one game behind them at 2-3. So there's going to be a lot of games there, and like I said last week, there's the pitching matchups really what it comes down to.
Speaking of some teams that are playing really well, you've got Vela and Mission Vets. They're both ranked in the state. Um, how good are they? I mean, it's 5A. There's always room to go further, in the lower ranks than is a lot of the times in the higher ranks. But how good are they?
I think they're real good. Obviously Casey Smith. Last year, his team went all the way to the regional finals, I believe,
Yeah, I believe so.
quarterfinals, and they lost to the eventual state finalists in Georgetown. Actually, the Vela kid actually beat that team 3-1. So they're just as good as anyone, and they're well coached. Casey does a great job out there. Really good job. Edinburgh Vela has a lot of talent, a lot of speed. It's just a matter of now these last 7 or 8 games, getting on a roll. And whoever gets on a roll and gets a little hot, shoot, it can carry you a long ways.
Coach, you've been to the state finals before. What does it take? If you're at the midway point of district, what does it take for you to get ready for the playoffs? And prepare your team for the playoffs, but also go far in the playoffs.
Well, I think all these coaches here in the Valley, they do an excellent job. And I don't think they're too concerned right now with the playoffs so much as to get into the playoffs and getting a ticket into the playoffs where anything can happen. The other thing is, you really have to have a dominant pitcher. And I think Brownsville Vets has one. Um, so does Mission Vets. They have a good one. Vela has a couple of good ones. All those kids, they can compete at any level. It just depends on who's, the matchups and everything else. But really, it's going to come down to we've gotten to the point in the Valley that it really comes down to who gets a break, because we're just as good as Laredo and San Antonio in baseball. It's just a matter of, okay, we've seen everything. We've seen fastballs at 90. We've seen them at this. It's just a matter of now, do we get a break here and there to go ahead and progress through the playoffs?
Now, for you, in your district play, do you become now the spoiler? Is that what you're where you guys are positioned? Do you kind of find yourself in that role of, all right, let's spoil somebody else's season?
Well, it's kind of funny you say that because we lost to San Benito 4-3, and I talked to Coach Agni, and I said, "Man, I almost gave you a gift there," and he says, "Man, I wish you had." And then we turn around and play Harlingen and beat them 2-1. So now I think Coach Partida owes me a dinner. So yes, there's definitely we're spoilers right now, and that's all we're gonna do. This other four teams on top are really strong, so it's gonna be hard for us to keep up with them.
Now, when you look at the districts, you guys play 31 6A in the first round. How good can your district sweep 31 6A? Are they good enough right now? I mean, I know that Edinburgh has John Henry, there's Servine, and at Edinburgh North. As far as
Oh
pitching,
yeah.
is your district, is it conceivable that they could go 4-0 in the playoffs?
I would I would find it hard to believe because like you just mentioned, John Hendry, he's really good there at Edinburgh High. Servine is really good. You know, I know last year San Benito hadn't faced a pitcher like John from Edinburgh, and they were in shock. Kind of, they hadn't seen a kid, but maybe they can overcome it this year. But man, those guys are tough. The same thing goes for the kid from Brownsville Vets. You flip it over to the other side. But Eddie Serna always does a great job. He's got an ace in the hole there in Ulysses Hernandez. So there's it just depends on what happens that night. Or if they go 2 out of 3. I think if they go 2 out of 3, the better team usually wins. It's when you go one game. Shoot, that's a tough thing for, especially if you're the better team. You kind of sweat that out because that pitcher could have an off night, or you can just get a ball roll the wrong way. Things like that happen.
Now, some of the, used to be powers, they aren't as strong this year. Sherryland's having that kind of season right now. They've kind of fell off as far as being one of the top teams in their district. Can they right the ship? In the meantime, can they turn it around in the second part of the season?
Well, Sherryland's sitting in 5th place, right behind Roma, which is 3-2. Coach Martinez there. I saw their team play against San Benito while I was scouting San Benito, and they beat San Benito. I think it was 1-0. So, they're a very young team, and I see them improving steadily. I know that sometimes they get blown out in certain games, but then they come back and play an excellent game. And I think for the most part, the reason that happens is you're so young at certain positions, and you might have a few holes that they expose here and there, but. Now, Sherryland, Junior's doing a great job over there, and you don't know what's going to happen. Roma, I think it's Roma, PSJ, no, Valley View, Vela, and Mission Vets that should be the 4 teams in the playoffs. I know Valley View just beat Vela. That's saying a lot because like you mentioned earlier, there's 2 state-ranked teams there in that district, and Valley View's in 3rd right now, and they went and beat one of the top 2 teams. So that was impressive right there. So that tells you that the baseball's really good here.
Now, Valley View. Speaking of Valley View beating Vela. Did they come out of nowhere for you? Because I mean, we did the preview at the beginning of the year, and that district was so tough with Roma, Rio, the Vets, Vela. And you've got Sherryland and Sherryland Pioneer. Did they come out of nowhere, or is it just that district was so tough we couldn't tell?
Well, I knew they were good because I saw some of their kids in the summer, and they were very impressive kids. And that wasn't all their kids. I just saw 2 or 3 of them, and I said, man, there's some pretty good little athletes there. And of course, we knew about the other teams. We knew about Roma and everybody else. Roma had a coaching change, and I don't know if it's affected them at all. They're still young. But yeah, Valley View's got a good little team there, and they're strong. They even tied Brownsville Vets, I believe, 7-7 in a preseason game. So that tells you they're a good ball club.
There are a lot of teams that look like they're down and out. They didn't have a good first round of district play. Are there any teams right now that you look at that look like they could be down and out, but they could make the playoffs?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say something. We just played Harlingen, and they look like you think they're down and out, but they're very, very talented. They've lost some really tough games, and things tend to even out. So they're still in the mix. I see them as a really good contender. I also see their Donna in their district. They're still 3-3, I think, and they're fighting with the Ed Couch, PSJA, and I don't know who the other one is, Porter and Donna North. So one of those 5 teams is going to be left out. But that's another team. Another team that you may want to look at is Mission. They're quiet. They're 3-3, but if they get any kind of little breaks here and there, shoot, they could be right back in the thick of it. They're only maybe 1 game back in the loss column as far as the playoffs position.